Welcome to Vets to PM's Military Transition Academy podcast, the show where we discuss how to succeed in transitioning from the military service to the civilian workforce. This show and the academy it represents helps veterans transition into meaningful, lucrative post-service careers.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Military Transition Academy, man. It's Eric Doc Wright with Vets to PM again. And in advance of an event happening on May 2nd that I'm sure you're going to want to know about, especially after I light this fire under you, is I've got a very special guest, John Cook, becoming a dear friend, close friend. And as far as business mentors go and just giants in the space, gang, this guy he's got shoulders you can stand on. And his performance is sustained with a capital S. So, John, man, welcome to the MTA. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the time and thanks for hosting.
You bet. So, hey, we've got an event coming up May 2nd, John. So that's what this is in advance of. So why don't you tell them about the event real quick, but tell them about you before we get there and why the event.
Yeah, so the event is on May 2nd, as Doc mentioned, and it's in Fairfax, Virginia. And a little bit about the event and a little bit about my background is I've been in government contracting for 25 years, large businesses, small businesses. And one of the unique service offerings that I've learned over the years is the Tribal 8A mechanism and contract vehicle, which has a $25 million sole source ceiling for federal and civilian agencies and $100 million sole source ceiling for individual awards for Department of Defense. And so it's a very good vehicle to work quick execution contracts when partners or the tribes have relationships directly with the federal government. And so a lot of times what happens in the market is a lot of the smaller companies, small to medium-sized companies, they don't have all the contract vehicles and they don't necessarily know how to navigate to get those larger contracts, assuming they even have relationships. So if they have a relationship with someone within a specific agency, the agency a lot of times will send that procurement through various contract vehicles or the competitive route. And so our job is to educate a lot of these small businesses for executing a better way to get this done, because the government has small business goals they have to meet, just like they do in the VA. So they have these same small business goals within DoD and federal civilian agencies. And so by working with some of the Native American tribes, you can execute very large contracts very rapidly. And that's really what this event's all about. We're bringing in a lot of speakers to this event that will add credibility to that. We've got one speaker that is an SDVOSB that is, in fact, a very good friend of mine. I've worked with this individual from day one of his business for 15 years, and he's figured it out. He's figured it out not only with tribes, but also with other vehicles in the market. But one of the things that I'm happy to report with Anthony is that he's grown his business to over $500 million in 15 years, which is absolutely incredible. SDVOSB, and there's a lot of Tribal 8A sole sources that we work together on to navigate this pathway.
Okay, holy cow, John. Okay, so everybody out there listening or watching an MTA Podcast Nation, we gotta rewind a wee bit, John, because I gotta unpack a couple key things there to make sure everybody heard them. And gang, this is why John and I are doing this video. I really want you all at the May 2nd event. John's going to have people in the room. You heard him say it. People in the room with opportunities that if you're the 2 aspirin for the headache they have, baby, you're in. I mean, so what he said is one of the people you're going to meet, in addition to John, is Anthony Colossum, and I think is his last name?
Anthony Clausen from Colossal Contracting.
Colossal Contracting. He is a military veteran. He's been mentoring and working with John for 15 years, and he went from 0 to $500 million. Let that sink in, gang. Let that sink in. Oh, and he also, finer point, is not just doing Department of Defense, or he's not just doing VA because he's a veteran. He's doing any and every opportunity that he can get a hold of using the Tribal 8A vehicle. So Podcast Nation, MTA Podcast Nation, what you should have just heard is, if I'm a veteran, if I'm doing work with the Fed, I should probably be there to at least see this vehicle and then determine whether you don't want to try to use it or not. I just say add it to your strategic business development portfolio. How much you execute, what percentage of your portfolio, to what degree, what amount, what companies, what opportunities, what dollar amount, it doesn't matter. You should at least have the information so you can make the informed decision. So, John, is that kind of a synopsis of what the show is going to be about and the caliber of people they're going to meet?
That's it. That's it. I mean, we're going to have a strategic advisor from for SGA, former Governor of Virginia, George Allen, former senator. This guy is very dedicated to the cause, helping Native American tribes in the government contracting space. His father was the Hall of Fame football coach of the Redskins. Some of you may recall. We also will have a former administrator for the SBA business partner, John Shiraka, and John led the small business programs for the SBA for 7 years, and so at headquarters. So very knowledgeable individual. We also have several. We'll have several partners in the audience who also are taking advantage of this. We'll have one, Molly Mayhew with Mayhew Technology. So he met down in Miami. So
Yes,
she's
sir.
phenomenal, and so she's done. They've put together a partnership with Colossal. That was one of the partnerships that SGA helped broker because Colossal was growing so rapidly. He needed to have another SDVOSB partner that could take on some of the services work. So they formed a mentor protege joint venture. And so it's all about being super strategic in the government contracting space. You can go out and win contracts, but what happens when you start to win, you start to grow? You need to make sure that you have all of these strategies in place and you're taking advantage of all the rules and the regulations that some may or may not be aware of. And so that's what we try to do. We try to help educate the teams. Now, this event, of course, is all about the tribes. And so we're going to be bringing in 6 tribal clients that we have to the table. And these tribal clients, they're involved in anything from aerospace and defense to environmental, construction, IT, cyber. The breadth of services are extremely wide for the type of systems that these guys have to offer.
That's amazing. So, John, much like being a vet, when you're working with the tribes, you're in the tribe. I mean, once you've jumped into the club, you're in the club, right? And, everybody in the world knows that business is about relationships. Relationships are based on trust. Trust is based on, hey, what can you do? I can do this. That will help you. I executed. Now you trust me to execute again. That's where a lot, in my humble opinion, after doing this, I'm no GovCon expert, but where after meeting thousands of GovCons, veteran owned, is a lot of times if you're waiting to pursue opportunities listed in sam.gov, you're late. You're wrong. Formation's already over. You didn't even make it to formation on time, right? That thing's already, they've already got people in mind. You need relationships. You need to know people. You need to have relationships formed. You need bonds. So, and you heard John, it's 2 SDVOSBs hooking up. I met Molly. We've had a conversation at the event. I mean, so I would just urge everybody out there listening, MTA Podcast Nation, if you're a veteran-owned business, if you're pursuing any kind of contracting opportunities with the Fed at all, you ought to come to the event on May 2nd and just hear and meet the folks that can help you decide whether it is for you or it is not for you. So, John, as we wrap this up, my friend, please tell them about May 2nd. How do they find out about it? How do they get there? How do they come meet us? We'll have some bourbons and cigars or something after the event or whatever. So just tell them how to get there and so they can be square and get there.
That's fantastic. No, I appreciate this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add this in the chat, I think. Let's see here. So May 2nd is the event. I just added this in the chat for anyone to pick up here. And so you just need to go to the event. You need to register. Seats will fill up quick. I think we've got about 250 seats. We're starting the marketing for this today. And so officially, so we're going to start our campaigns and all these things. We've got about 60 days for this event. And ultimately what we're trying to do, to your point, Doc, we're trying to merge the SDVOS community with the tribal community. We are reaching out to say, come in, we're going to show you how this is done. And so what I've learned in my career is that a lot of small companies, they usually have at least one really good contact within the federal government that wants them. The problem is it's very hard for them to get to that company. And they've got to figure out all these different ways to navigate this. And then a lot of times those small businesses find that they end up losing out because it becomes a competitive deal and it's a race to zero and all these things. And so this is a better way, a better mousetrap, if you will. And we're opening our arms to say, come in, let's work together, let's get this done. So the event, and then the other way is Strategic Growth Advisors is the name of our company, as previously mentioned. You can go to our LinkedIn page. You can follow our LinkedIn page. Doc, you've recently tagged it. Maybe you'll tag it here on this post here.
Yes, sir.
And if you go there and watch it, you'll see lots of marketing activities that start to take place over the next 30, 45 days in preparation for this event. So we couldn't be happier to be working with the veteran community and trying to figure out ways to navigate the tribal partnerships and ultimately drive more sole source deals and help both communities, help the Native American tribes that we represent, because that's our job. And then also as we're working to help the veterans as well, sir.
Yeah, I tell you what, John, I couldn't be more thankful of all your time and your mentorship with me personally and Vets to PM. So, gang, come meet John, come meet Anthony. You're meeting other vets, you're meeting tribal opportunities. You at least got to get the information so you can make an informed decision. It's in the chat right up here, folks. I think you'll be able to see this on the recording. If you do not, you need to go to strategicadvisors.com/2024 Tribal Partnership Summit. It's May 2nd in DC. It's an all-day event. It's from like 08-ish to about 1600-ish. There will be networking. So look forward to seeing you there. John, I really appreciate you taking time today, especially considering you're writing the drop of a campaign this afternoon. So we appreciate you and look forward to seeing you again in person, my friend.
No, thank you, sir. Just to clarify, stratgrowthadvisors.com.
Oh, that's right. Stratgrowthadvisors.com, gang. Strat Growth Advisors.
But yes, just follow the SGA LinkedIn. We'll get you all taken care of. And thank Doc, I really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, so thank you so much for helping us promote this event. And I can't wait to see you and introduce you to several people at this event, sir.
Well, hey, I appreciate it, John. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in and spending a bit of time with us at the Military Transition Academy, powered by Vets to PM. If we piqued your interest, but you want more details, please head over to the website vetstopm.com and see if we can help prepare you for a better tomorrow or a future meaningful and lucrative career.